Let's check out the Typinator interface. So over here on the left, we've got our sets. So sets are collections of abbreviations and expansions. And when you click on a set in the far left, then the abbreviations and their associated expansions contained within are listed. So as I click each one, you can see the contents change. And when you first install Typinator, you are provided with a default set to get you started. Then to the right of the set name, you can see how many items are contained within. And when you click one, then the configuration of that abbreviation and expansion can be seen on the far right. So the abbreviation is here, and these are the keys that you're going to type. Then here, we can change the format of the expansion. Then down here, we've got the actual expansion itself. So what is going to be typed out? In this instance, it's going to type out today's date. And we cover this in a later section. So if I click on this email templates set that I created, I can see all of my abbreviations and expansions in here, and then I can edit them on the far right. A nice simple flow there. Other elements you can see here in this interface, we've got an extensions button, and this allows you to import some predefined sets. Then to the right of that, we've got a statistics button, and this tells you when you last typed an abbreviation and how many times you've used it. The apps button here, well, this allows you to enable or disable different sets within different applications. Then here, you've got the settings for Typinator, which allows you to tweak some settings like configuring the shortcuts or enabling synchronization of your sets to use on other devices, all the while enabling your data to stay private. You can quickly get to some common actions in Typinator by clicking on the Actions button. You can get to Typinator Help underneath this question mark. And if you want to search within the Typinator application for an abbreviation or expansion, you can do so here. Let's take a look at an example abbreviation and expansion here, and then set up our own. So in this customer service reply set, I've got an abbreviation, so XCSACK. And when I type these out in any application, it's going to expand into this text here. So let's see that. I'll open Text Edit. I'll type in that abbreviation. And sure enough, you can see that that expanded extremely quickly. Now let's set up a brand new one. So here in a set called My Information, I've got some useful abbreviations here that will expand to my email address, my name, and my phone number. Now I could do with one in here for my address. So let's create that. I'll click the plus button here. And you'll see over here, there's a little warning circle. And that's just because we don't have an abbreviation typed yet. Now, when deciding on your abbreviation, it's important to structure them properly so that you remember them easily. And ideally, you don't have to search for them. Now, one habit that I have when I use Typinator is I always start off my abbreviations with an X, solely because it's very rare that I use X in any words that I type. And that means I'm not going to accidentally kick off one of these expansions when I'm typing a normal word. Then the letters next to it often refer to the context of the expansion. So for my own personal information, I tend to use ME for me. And then I put whatever I want on the end. So I'll do ADDR for address. And this goes with the pattern here for XME email, XME name, and XME PH for phone. I'm not going to forget these. Also, these have to be unique. If I delete this and put in an abbreviation I already have, Typinator blocks you from creating, and it tells you where the conflict is over here. So I'll correct this again. And then here on this drop down, we can decide on the format. So is it going to be plain text? Is it going to be formatted text, a picture or image, or is it going to be HTML? We'll stick with plain text. And then in the main box down here, I'm going to put in the address that we want expanded. With that in, I'm going to key in my abbreviation here, followed by a space. And there is my address. Quick and simple. Now you will have noticed that I had to press space to invoke the expansion, and that's the default behavior, as we can see down here. It helps when using shorter abbreviations to stop you accidentally expanding them when they appear as part of a regular word. Whereas expanding immediately after match, this is designed for automatic corrections and word stem replacements. You'll see when you change it, there's an icon on the far right here that tells you if it's immediate or waiting for a word break. And just to show you the difference, I'll type out the abbreviation without the spacebar and it expands immediately. So very well suited for auto-correcting common spelling mistakes or for those expansions that you know aren't going to be triggered accidentally when you don't want them to. Let's take a look at a formatted text expansion now. And a great use of these is for email signatures. So I have an abbreviation here, which is XEM for email and then SIG1. As I may have multiple signatures that I want to use, so I'd call them XEM SIG2, SIG3, and so on. Now, when I change this here to formatted text, we've got some new buttons. So one here that deals with the justification and the alignment of the text. And then this one here has got the standard formatting tools that you'd expect to see when dealing with rich text. I'll pop some text in here. And there is the signature. Pretty boring, but let's make it stand out a little. So the job title, I can make this bold with Command and B. Then the company name here, let's click. And you can see all of our formatting options and the keyboard shortcuts for them too. So just select the one that you want. And I'm just going to make this red here. That looks better. Actually, I think we should bold that as well. And up here, there needs to be a line break, I think. And then finally, let's just take this phone number and italicize it. So as this is rich text, it's going to paste into another application and retain its formatting. So I'll type in the abbreviation here, and there is our signature. The Typinator can be used to immediately insert an image file into a document as well. Now I don't need to wait for a word break for this one, so I think I'll change this. And then here on this drop down, I'll change this to picture. Now all I need to do is drag and drop the image in. So here I am in Finder. My logo file is there. I'm going to drag it over until I see the green plus and then let go. And that's set up ready for me to use. So here we are typing an email to our publisher and I want to show the new logo. So I'm just going to key in my abbreviation and it's dropped in. No need to come out to Finder or any other application to find it or even take my fingers off the keyboard. Time saved. Let's take a look at case matching. So here we can see I have an abbreviation XBTW that when typed is going to expand to by the way with a leading capital there. So it's pretty standard. And if we look down the bottom here, there's a drop down for us to define how the case matching is going to work. So by default, it doesn't matter. I can type the abbreviation in lowercase, in capitals. It doesn't care. It's always going to expand to what we have here. Now we can make it a requirement for the case to match. And we can also make it a bit dynamic in that depending on what case we type our abbreviation, that is going to directly impact what happens with the expansion. So let's show the default first. In our scratch pad here, I'm just going to type in the abbreviation in lowercase. And as expected, it matches what we're specified over here. And no matter what case I type the abbreviation in, you can see it stays the same each time. Now, let's change it to exact match required here. Well, I'll type it in lowercase. All good. But when I deviate from that, no dice. It's not going to expand. So it's useful for locking some expansions again to prevent them from being easily typed. Now this time, let's switch that to adapt expansion to typed case. And this gives us full autonomy over what is expanded. So lowercase makes the expansion all lowercase, all caps, of course, makes it all capital letters. And then if I do a combination, this is going to capitalize the leading character and that's all. So total control over how you want your expansion to appear. If you want to have one core abbreviation but have it potentially provide you with different expansions, you can use a feature we call magic keys to give you some variety. So here we have an email signature and the abbreviation is XEMSIG1 because the plan was to have multiple signatures but with a different number on the end. Instead of that, we could remove the digit on the end and just replace it with a magic key. So what is a magic key? Well, at the end of this abbreviation, if I tap on a keyboard modifier like the Shift key, we can see a blue representation of that Shift key there, meaning we're going to need to press it after the abbreviation has been typed to trigger. You can use any of your modifiers here as a magic key to give you different options for triggering the expansions. You'll see that when you place a magic key on the end of an abbreviation, you can no longer wait for the spacebar to trigger it. It's going to be done immediately, which makes sense. So here in Text Edit, I'm going to key in my abbreviation, tap the Option key, and boom, it expands. So the beauty of magic keys is allowing you to have one core abbreviation, but different expansions. So the Shift key has this simple signature. Using Control as a magic key is going to give me this more detailed one. Pressing Command will have this signature with a nice quote on the end, but I may not want that for everyone. So now I can use this selectively. And then the Option key places the email address at the end as well. Now you'll see here it's quite difficult to see which of those expansions is which without clicking on them to see. Well, a way around that is you can right click and select Add Description here. Then type in the description. And now the preview of the expansion has been replaced with that description, making it easier for you to tell them apart at a glance. I'll do the same for this one just here. There we are. So magic keys to help give you more range to individual abbreviations and descriptions will help you identify expansions in this main Typinator window. Let's take a look at quick search now, because as your library of abbreviations grows, you're going to inevitably forget about some of them. So here is an email to our marketing team. And I know I've got a logo in Typinator that I can send them, but I cannot remember the abbreviation. I'm going to press Control and Return. And we've got a small discrete window at the top there, and I can type in some search criteria. So Acme, because I remember that was in the abbreviation, and there it is. I can press Return or Enter, and it's added. The quick search window is great because it can search abbreviations, expansions, and comments as well. And it can really save you time when you know you've got an abbreviation for something, but can't quite put your finger on it. Quick search can also be used for calculations and converting numbers. So 80 times 4 here gives me the answer, of course, in general. Just use the arrow keys to navigate to it and then press Enter to paste. But also you'll see it presents the results in other number formats as well, like binary, hexadecimal, even Roman numerals. And whichever option you choose is going to appear at the top the next time you invoke it. So quick conversion of numbers is a hidden gem within Typinator. Let's take a look at our sets now, because whilst focusing on the abbreviations is important, our sets can help keep things organized and they can apply settings to all of the items contained within them. So to create a new set, you click up here and you can create a normal abbreviation set at the top. There's a regular expression set because Typinator supports regular expressions too. You can access a predefined set that contains a number of abbreviations already, and you can also subscribe to a set that someone else has published. I'm going to create a new abbreviation set here. I'll give it a name. This one is going to contain all my date and timestamps. You can drag and reorder these over here, and then either press Command and N to create a new abbreviation in there, or you can click on another set and then just drag abbreviations across and drop them in there. If you want to temporarily stop using the abbreviations within a set, you can uncheck the checkbox here to disable, or check it again to re-enable them. Now you can limit which applications are able to access the contents of certain sets. Click on the Apps button here, and you'll see a window that allows us to manage active sets for individual applications. You can see here the default is for all sets to access all applications, but you can check or uncheck them over here, and that's going to control their visibility to whatever is selected on the left. If you want to add an application in here, click on the plus button and then select one. It appears and is selected, and now you can individually check them off, or click on the None button here to stop Typinator from working, in ChatGPT in this case. Perhaps for this application, I just want my AI prompts set and nothing else. Or you can click on All to re-enable everything. If you want to remove an app, just click the minus button here. Okay, let's come out. And all of these sets have settings that you can apply to them. So if I right click on one of them over here and select Set Info, you'll see that we can rename it. We can have a dedicated prefix to all abbreviations in the set. So if I pop one in here, say XD, you can now see before all abbreviations in this set, there's a light blue XD appearing. And that means that it's now been implicitly added automatically to all of them. Okay, let's go back in and I'll delete that prefix. You can also add a suffix to all of the abbreviations as well. And when Typinator does make an expansion, a sound can be heard. And if you like, you can have a unique sound for each set. You can also set the default matching and casing options for all new abbreviations that are created. So all new items in this set will expand immediately after a match. When it comes to searching for items in this set with quick search, do you want them displayed when someone types in characters from their abbreviations, their expansions, or both? Or only if someone types in a special keyword? And when you take a look at the statistics for items in this set, are they going to be treated as expansions of text or autocorrections? And then at the bottom, we also have a notes field that you can fill out if needed. Let's take a look at adding a predefined set. So we can do that here, and you can see the list of sets that can be added. Or if I come out, you can just click on the extensions button here. Now there are some really useful options here that is worth adding. So my typing is really bad at times because I favor speed over accuracy. So I want the autocorrection set added. And I think I might have this HTML snippets one here. And we've also got some regular expression-based sets as well, like this date steps one. At the bottom, we've got a link to go to our extensions page, and you can find even more sets for download. I'm going to click to add these ones. And they were added very quickly there. So here is the autocorrection one there. It's got 865 items in it. I reckon I'll be firing off a lot of those in a single day. You can go into the set info for these as well. And you'll see that down here, the option to change the default options is grayed out, as is whether they are treated as expansions or corrections within the statistics. And there's also a description there that tells you what this set is for. And this can come in very handy for some of these predefined regular expression sets, because in here at the bottom, you can see instructions that show you how to use them. And with regular expressions, these can be invaluable, so be sure to check them out. Okay, let's click on extensions. And in here, I'm going to come down to the link to the extensions webpage. So in here, there are more predefined sets with explanations for them. So check these out. And when you want to install one, click on the download button. And if you're using Safari, just come to your downloads button here. And these sets will have the TYSET extension. So just click that. And in Typinator, you can see this emoji set has installed. And over 2,000 emojis you can see are there. They're just at your fingertips. So type in the abbreviation and your emoji expands. So if you're getting started with Typinator and want some sets where others have done the work, check out the predefined ones. There are some good ones in there for you. Now these sets can take a long time to build, and if one day they're gone, it can really affect your productivity when you've got used to working with Typinator and saving all that time. So exporting sets to a backup location is a recommended practice. To back up a set, just right click, go to Export Set, and then choose a folder that you would like to back up to. And you now have a one-off backup of the set in its current format, so that if you find yourself on a new machine, you can just import the backup file by either double-clicking on it or coming to Actions here, then Sets, and Import. And then you just double-click on your set. It's going to appear again. When using Typinator, you may want some more information about which abbreviations you've been using and which ones are the most popular. Well, if you click on Statistics, you'll see some numbers appear to the right of these sets, and this tells you how many times the abbreviations in them have been typed. So 9 in AI prompts. Then in here, I can see them. So the number on the left is how long since you last typed it. Then on the right, how many times you have used it. Down here in my abbreviations, you can see while I've been working through these videos, I've got some detailed statistics there on all of these. Let's take a look now at the settings you can configure in Typinator. So if we start in the Activation tab, you've got checkboxes to open a window when Typinator starts. You can automatically start it on login, and you can also show it in the menu bar as well. And the menu bar can be pretty useful. You'll see up here as we click, you've got quick access to these 3 items here. If you forget the shortcuts, then you can get a new item from a selection or from the clipboard, which we'll look at shortly, as well as execute actions on your sets. You can get to settings from here and more. Also, in activation here, you can change the shortcuts that are currently assigned. And you'll see there are none by default for creating a new item from a selection or from the clipboard. So I'm going to add a new one in here. I think I'll leave the clipboard one alone. I'm just going to click OK. And we've got an email here. So if I want to add all of this text into Typinator, I can simply select it all and then key in that shortcut that I just created. We've got a new window here that allows us to create a new Typinator item. So I'll add an abbreviation. Then I'll keep this as plain text for now, but I could click the formatted checkbox to retain any formatting. Then down here, I'll choose the set that I wish to add it to. And then I can either click add or add and edit in Typinator. And this has put me in Typinator ready to edit this new item, which I will do here. So it's easy to get new items into Typinator when you see text that you want placed in. Onto the expansion tab now, and you can enable quick expansion, which is set by default. But if you do find yourself having any issues with expansions in Typinator, this should be disabled. Then you can set the default expansion and correction sounds for any new items here. Of course, these will be overridden if you do define a set specific sound. Then down here, you can enable abbreviations to be typed in these launcher services. And if you use our application called Popcar to type special characters in macOS, you can search for them from within Typinator's quick search window using this prefix. If you want to use Typinator on multiple machines with the same abbreviations, you can enable iCloud and mobile sync here, which syncs all sets to your personal iCloud. Or if you work in a team environment, you can enable a sync to a shared folder, and that is going to synchronize to a shared folder in other services like Dropbox, or perhaps to a shared network attached storage device. It is important to note that this has to link to the folder directly. It can't be sitting behind some form of authentication portal. Otherwise, Typinator is not going to be able to get to that folder.